The Bride is the kind of Gothic experience that immediately grabs your attention through its striking visual style. The production design is rich, textured, and dripping with atmosphere, creating a world that feels both eerie and oddly beautiful. Coming in at 60% on the tomato meter, 65 by the audience, it would seem that people are a little mixed on this. The IMDb says that this movie takes place in the 1930s in Chicago. Frankenstein asks Dr. Euphronius to help create a companion. They give life to a murdered woman as the bride, sparking romance, police interest, and radical social change. Now, that part is a little bit of a stretch. I enjoyed it, and I'll tell you why. For me, it felt like a mix between Nightmare Alley, Babylon, and Joker 2. I know that a lot of people will be like, well, James, a lot of people didn't like Joker 2. I didn't like Joker 2, but there's going to be similarities. I compare it to Joker 2 because it does have some dance sequences in there. Now, it's not quite like a musical, like the way that Joker 2 was, but there are some dancing scenes in there. And it's a little bit like Babylon in the sense that they're going to all these weird parties, right? You remember that in Babylon? Tobey Maguire was there and he was like, ooh, wow, well, I'm going to wow you with everything like that. And then the production design is very much like Nightmare Alley. It's got that kind of aesthetic and lighting style to it, where I think The Bride succeeds, though, is in that kind of abstract storytelling of there's a narration going on in her head telling her, do you believe what you're seeing? Do you believe what you want to be here in this reality? They're trying to make it look like it's like a Bonnie and Clyde story, and parts of that really work. Every frame seems carefully constructed with sets and costumes that feel like, well, they're living pieces of art. At the center of it, though, is Jessie Buckley there, and she is the prize here. She puts on a really good performance here. She really looks awesome, and whatever she's doing, you can't keep your eyes off her. It's just like, wow. And her dialogue and the way that she's delivering that dialogue is also really cool. So she commands the screen uh, with a strange, captivating energy that makes it nearly impossible to look away. So, where the film occasionally stumbles in the storytelling, the narrative sometimes feels scattered, like it didn't know exactly what it wanted to be. It was juggling several ideas without fully committing to one clear direction. Like moments that should connect emotionally can feel slightly disjointed, leaving the story a little less cohesive. Still, the film is undeniably kind of cool, even though I don't think it's going to resonate with a lot of people, and that's what the tomato meter was saying. It just, with that uneven structure, The Bride remains visually fascinating, and the performances make it worthwhile. With that being said, let's go over to my score sheet here and start filling in some numbers for The Bride. Acting, directing, and story are out of a possible 2 points each. Cinematography and score are out of 1 point. The acting, Jessie Buckley is awesome. Guys, you know how I feel about her. Even in bad movies like Men, she's good. uh, yeah, let's not go there. But she's been awesome in everything else that I've seen. And I think Hamnet is just a testament of her abilities right there. Directing. Maggie Gyllenhaal comes in and tries to tell us this story here. And I gotta say, the technical aspects of it are handled all very well. And like that's why I was saying it reminded me of Babylon, because it's got that big flashiness to it that it's just like, okay, I'm invested with these characters in these scenes. I just don't know if I'm really jiving with that story. So the technical aspects are handled very well. The story itself is, well, Bride of Frankenstein. It kind of opens up with a monologue and then has a redundant scene of her spilling out and coming undone kind of giving us the same kind of information. So it is a little bit clunky and it's a little bit slow to get out of the gate, but I like the reasons why she's got the black marks on her face and stuff like that. And I like it's intriguing. And I think this is one that has to sit a little bit for me to digest before I decide to say that it's really good or it's not terrible. It's not terrible. There's some stuff in here that I really liked, and I'm going to reserve the right to come back to the directing because it seems like all the ingredients were there because the story it does have some good beats in there. The acting is really good. It's a touch long. It's in 2 hour and 7 minute film. Cinematography though, I am going to give a full point to because there's some really cool imagery in this film. Them dancing. There's like I didn't think I would like the dancing parts, but yeah, there I was going like, okay, this is actually kind of fits. This worked where Joker 2 failed. And I think it was because they dialed back some of those musical sequences. It wasn't meant to be a musical, right? The score, I think there's going to be a lot of needle drops in here that a lot of people will like, so I'll give that a full point as well. And I'm just kind of left feeling, yeah, I think I dug this film. Let's go back to the tomato meter here and see what the critics and audiences are saying to see if we can get a measure here. Time Magazine. It's an intellectual joyride without the joy. See, now that's a little bit like Nightmare Alley, right? You're watching all of this visual feast and it's about bad people doing bad things and you just feel bad at the end of it. It's not quite like that because it's still at the heart trying to be a love story. Like Frankenstein wants to find like his partner. The New Yorker liked it. Insofar as Gyllenhaal's movie offers a corrective, it's a conceptual delight. But ultimately, the movie has the form of mismatched pieces stitched together and brought to life more willfully than something or something. So it's just echoing there a little bit of what I was trying to convey, that it does feel a little bit muddled. And I don't know if that's going to feel like that upon a second viewing, because this does have a decent watchability factor. Like I will want to go back and check this out again. I just don't know if it was a cinematic experience. I want to see it on a streaming service for sure. I think I'm leaning towards the more fact that I think about Jessie Buckley in this is just I liked what she was doing. It felt like artists were allowed to express themselves and explore ideas with this. Yeah. So, audience, what do we got here? Kind of middle of the road here. Entertaining as Bale can be, the rest is a smash up of thoughts that don't really make a coherent movie. Jennifer says dialogue was hard to discern at times, could quite figure out the whole Mary Shelley possession. Yeah, as I said, there's some weird story beats in there, and that's why I faulted the director here, Gyllenhaal. I think maybe she was grasping a little too much. I felt like she was straining a little bit. Jeremy John says the movie does start getting repetitive. And I could see that because they're on the run. They're getting chased throughout this, and Frankenstein's got this thing about going into movies and watching movies. Grace Randolph also didn't like it, while Maggie Gyllenhaal takes some bold swings. This is pretty unwatchable. No, I wouldn't go that far. A convoluted mess with an embarrassingly over-the-top performance from Jessie Buckley. See, okay, I could see how you could read that, because when you watch that opening sequence about the redundancy of the dialogue, you'll kind of get that, but I'm just, as I said, I was more invested at looking at Jessie Buckley in this weird getup. It was just like that was enough for me. Yeah, the rest of the cast does what they can, less of a script and more of a vision. So you get the idea here. It's mixed, right? Let's go back to the score sheet and fill in that watchability factor that's out of a possible 2 points. If you watch the trailers and you are a Jessie Buckley fan, Christian Bale fan, and are intrigued to see what he's doing as Frankenstein, there's some interesting ideas in here for sure. And I would say it's worth the watch. And for me, I think it's going to be worth probably a second watch. And I would watch this on streaming as well. And I think this is going to be a generous score uh, for me, 7.5. And I feel that's about right because there's a lot of style in this. And some people will say, and have said, it's a lot of style over substance. But even when the narrative wobbles a little bit, Buckley's presence anchors the film and gives you the character and emotional intensity that keeps you invested. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below and we will talk about it. You're watching Mirror Domain.